Wow, we've seen a lot in here today.
Yeah.
There's a lot to this place.
Yeah, and it's all really cool.
Alright, so that's interesting. And here's an example. Whoa.
That's creepy.
Whoa.
Hey guys, I'm Ray.
And I'm Dad.
And today we are at the National Funeral History Museum.
We found a whole section here on mummies and embalming and the story of Egyptian funerals. Wow. Look at that coffin. Or sarcophagus, right? If I can talk today. Look. And here's an example. Whoa.
That's creepy.
Whoa. Whoa, this is like if they were making a mummy. Whoa. A replica and all the tools. Wow. There's Anubis, the Egyptian god of embalming. Here's another view into what it would look like. We are prepping the dead. And a bit about the coffins they'd use. And the actual embalming process that they'd use to preserve the bodies for the mummies. And there's a whole bunch of sections on that. And as we come across on this other side, they talk about their how they memorialize them, where they bury them at. Of course, they have to talk about the pyramids and the importance of the pyramids in the burial process, and then talk about the actual tombs and the burial. Yeah, lots of information in here. Really well done. What a beautiful exhibit.
A little fun fact. So you know how they're using it looks like person? They also make animal ones for the people who died, their pets. And all the little animal ones, and they'll get buried together.
So here's a section due for Dr. Thomas Holmes, father of American embalming. I had no idea. Learning all kinds of new things here. And embalming during the Civil War. So they have an example of how they do embalming during the Civil War here in the embalming in the field. And they're showing a gentleman with an interesting mustache and beard, and another gentleman here, and then how they did the embalming. And they actually have information you can take with you, which is interesting, so you can learn about this process and the history of it. And if we come on the other side, there's a box hearse. So there's an old hearse, and they carry the coffins by horse, drawn carriage. I'm not sure what we got ourselves into in this embalming section, but it seems to go and go. So we started with the Egyptians, went to Civil War, and now we're into early embalming. Okay, so is this like the early 1900s maybe? And all the stuff they used? I mean, it's just...
There's like over here, there are a bunch of shelves, and it's just like all the tools they used.
Whoa. Well, and then here is a cold ice casket, I guess, to preserve bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then they'd have outfits to put them in, and they had embalming fluid. Oh, and wow, this is this reminds me of the start of every single scary horror movie I've ever watched. But this is really interesting. Like Frankenstein. That's right. Okay, remember the comment I said about, scary movies? I think we're like entering into that area. It's really parlor of a Victorian house during a funeral.
You're going into the past.
I keep going fast, yeah. It's
Awesome.
wow. It's amazing what they've done in this museum. And they have so much information here. You can spend hours reading everything. Oh, and a little doll.
That's a creepy doll.
These 4 watch chains are made from human hair. Oh, so they put human hair on these to memorialize people. A mourning shadow box. Deceased was common. Oh, interesting. So much history and so much I haven't really thought about before. Early memory folders. So they keep, come and turn this way, Ray, then turn around here. This display is typical of a 19th century parlor room. I was trying to see if I see anything about why they put the black over the mirrors, but maybe we can ask them. I remember hearing a story about that, but I can't remember now. And I don't see anything on it. Here's an old carriage called the Widow's Coach from 1888. Wow. So it looks like Ray and I can actually go inside one of these hearses. Mm-hmm. So let's go take a look. First. Yeah, looks like we can just look in here. I don't know if we want to go in, but I guess this is where they have the family hang out. And then I think the other part of it is where the family rides. And if I go up here, I think this is where the coffin, no, this is where the driver would be. So here's the other side that we stuck our heads in earlier. But this is where they load the coffins into.
Yeah, and then there'll be one up there.
And then there's some other backs of hearses, yeah.
I guess there are a bunch of different types.
There are Italian Renaissance classic revival design. Oh, that casket's artistic. This 2003 Cadillac masterpiece was used for the President Ronald Reagan funeral and the President Gerald R. Ford funeral. Wow, some history in this automobile, huh? 2 presidents traveled in this and were laid to rest. Wow. Here's a whole section to presidential funerals. Oh. And right off the bat, they have a whole section on Abraham Lincoln. Wow. Check this out. These are the pennies of Abraham Lincoln. There's pennies from all different years. But what the coolest thing is they made Abraham Lincoln's face out of pennies. I know there's a bit of a glare. Let's see if we can get a little less glare out of it. But that is so unique. Wow. Alright, they have a whole section on Abraham Lincoln and his funeral. Wow. It's a flag remnant from his funeral train. Wow. A replica of Abraham Lincoln's death mask. Lincoln's tomb. And this is a replica of the coffin? So one of the things that's unique here is they actually have spots here where you can take selfies within the museum if you want to take a selfie. So this one's in front of the portrait and memorial for Abraham Lincoln. And now we're getting into Dia de los Muertos. I hope I say that right. The Day of the Dead. And they have a house showing how they celebrate. What did you learn, Ray?
So, I read this, and it shows you why they put all the things near ofrendas.
Okay, so tell me about some of the things they put on the ofrendas.
So, they use candles to light the way for the spirits to the ofrenda. They have water, because after a long journey, the soul of thirst. And toys to make light of death.
And once again, the attention to detail and their dioramas and their exhibits is amazing. Here's the ofrenda. It shows things on there. This is on the other side for the Dia de los Muertos exhibit. showing the graveyard and the flowers. So this room has hearse from all over the world and the different styles of hearse. So we're just going to scan through here. I'm going to do a quick walk over here so you guys can see how ornate many of these hearse are. And here's the hearse that carried the Princess Grace of Monaco to her final resting place. Wow. Alright, so that's interesting. This is both the undertaker and I guess the folks that supply hardware. A section on how they make coffins behind me. And the tools they need to use to make them. Life well lived. Fantasy coffins of Kane Kauai. Historic and artistic significance. Wow.
Sorry if you pronounced it wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I probably pronounced it wrong, so my apologies for pronouncing it wrong, but these are just amazing works of art. And they're coffins, and there's a chicken.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. A crawdad, a crab coffin, a fish coffin,
And they have the meanings
a
of
leopard. Oh, they have meanings on them. So what's the chicken?
I
They don't have a
can't
chicken
find
one.
it.
So these are how a coffin from Ghana, the African country of Ghana. They do celebratory coffins. Here's one that's an airplane. Wow. And a car, and a cow, and an eagle. Wow, and look at the detail in these things. Each one's a piece of art. This is a casket for 3 people. Wow, that is really big.
Yeah.
So they do have a section on the lives and deaths of the popes, and we walked through, and it was an amazing exhibit. We didn't film in there, but it's worth coming to check this out. It is it's pretty fascinating, and I learned a lot, and it's very well done. So they have a section also on the ceremony of sainthood. If anybody's ever been curious about that, you can come here and learn about it. Alright, going to the next section. What do you think this section is? Famous people?
Yes, it is like celebrities and people that have kind of like changed history in this area. So let's go and see.
Okay. And they have to have something for the king of rock and roll. There's Elvis. I guess we'll just walk around in a circle here. What is it, Ray?
Kobe Bryant.
They have a Kobe Bryant one.
Right there.
Oh. Yeah, that was such sad news. Kobe Bryant. Oh. Okay, here's one for Jim Henson, who is one of my favorite people ever. The creator of the Muppets. That's comfortable. Wow. And they have Gene Wilder's hat from Willy Wonka here. Another one of my, something I always really enjoyed in my childhood. Here is a shout out to the great scary movie actors. Vincent Price, Peter Boyle, Bela Lugosi, who was actually one of my grandfather's favorite when he was growing up as a kid. He always used to talk about how amazing he was. Fred Gwynne is Herman Munster, one of my favorites. A little section on Bonanza, and the folks from Bonanza. So we used to live right there, and we used to often go there. We actually would hang out in Virginia City a lot, so that was pretty neat. It's actually where we moved from. We moved from Reno to Houston. For all the old Western fans, see anybody's names you recognize up there, Ray? Wow. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite museums I've ever been into. There's a newspaper headline from when Edison passed away, about the Hindenburg explosion, and about Henry Ford passing away. Wow. So, in the 1940s, they used the idea of Snow White and actually made a glass Snow White casket that funeral homes would show, I guess, as a way to get people in. And this display is interesting because it has all the seven dwarfs. And along with that, you have Walt Disney. Who died when they were 27, and they have a memorial to the musicians who died when they were 27, including Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones, Robert Johnson, Amy Winehouse, Neil Armstrong, and of course Sally Ride. I gotta say, this is a pretty powerful section, Ray. What do you think? Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting, and it's great that they're memorializing so many of these people. And they have a section here dedicated as a memorial to 9/11. And this casket dedicated to the first responders. Wow. We've seen a lot in here today.
Yeah.
There's a lot to this place.
Yeah, and it's all really cool.
It's really cool.
Detailed.
And detailed, right? I would have never have thought. All right, well, let's go take a look in the gift shop and see what they have. All right, so we're heading into the gift shop, and they have a lot of really unique things. What did you find, Ray?
That was really cool.
You found something really cool? Okay, let's see what you found that's really cool.
The sugar skull purse.
Oh, the sugar skull purse. Oh, that's neat. Lots of sugar skull items. Lots of these posters are really neat. Look at that St. James Infirmary Jazz Band poster. I love it. Look at all these neat posters. Wow, if you guys want kind of a unique gift for somebody, these posters are really neat. I really like that St. James Infirmary Jazz Band. I may have to get that one. It's even got a banjo player. And Ray found her favorite thing. They're called furry bones. And they're creatures, or they're skeletons dressed up as animals.
Yeah.
And I like these two sayings they have on a lot of their stuff. And that is, any day above ground is a good one. And in dog years, I'm dead.
Alright, so that was awesome. That was one of the coolest museums I've ever been to. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was super cool seeing how like they make mummies and do a bunch of other stuff and like see hearses.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I can't talk today. But I loved all of the exhibits. It was so cool. And anything you'd like to say?
I just can't. I would have never guessed. This was
Yeah, it was awesome.
seriously one of the best museums I've ever been to. It's fascinating. There's a lot of history here. There's a lot of memorabilia here. It's something that I never thought of coming to, or even maybe taking even Ray to. But Ray had such a good time looking at all the different exhibits. Mm-hmm. And it was a good way for us to talk about life, right?
Yeah.
So, and also to see how people celebrate people's lives, and then how
they celebrate people's deaths.
and how they celebrate people's deaths as well. And it was really well done. It's very tasteful, and it's very knowledgeable.
But yeah, just a quick FYI, if you do ever want to come here, I would recommend coming with some older kids, because there could be some things that are creepy here.
So when you say older kids, what age are you thinking?
Like, maybe like 7 and up.
7 and up? Okay.
For example.
Like what kind of things are creepy?
Like, for some people, that the mummy in the embalming area, that might be creepy to some. like if you're scared of dolls and stuff, some of the wax figures, and just things like that.
Yeah,
But
good point, Ray.
yeah, so it's about like a 7 and up area. But it's really cool. Definitely recommend coming if you're in the area. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And once you subscribe, press the bell for notifications so you know when we upload a new video. And most of all, enjoy.